Hello everyone and welcome to this class on time, speed and distance. So we continue with our series of YouTube lectures which is preparing us for CMAT 2021 and also MHCET 2021, and today we come up with a class on time, speed and distance. So how will we study this chapter? We divide this chapter into types of problems. So there are three types of problems that you get from this chapter. First are the problems on trains, then there are problems on boats, and then there are problems on races, which includes again two types: linear races where you run in a straight line and circular races where you run across a circle. What we will do, how will we study them? Now we will study them first, understand and memorize the concept with good stories, as we always do with all the chapters. So we'll study three stories here: the Mumbai local, which will help us explain and understand the concepts with respect to trains. Then we'll study the story of backwaters, which will help us to understand the concept with respect to boats. And then we'll study the story of a Commonwealth game and how the races happened there, which will help us to know the concepts with respect to races, both the linear as well as the circular races. Once we know the concept, then we need the recall for the concepts, okay? Because the exam is not asking you for any concepts, that is for your understanding. You have to apply the concepts when you see the problem. So you need the recall for the concept so that you get the right recall in the exam as well. For that, we conduct Zoom classes. For you to get link to the Zoom classes, make sure you download our storyboard application. The link for that you will find in the description of this YouTube video. As you download this application, get added into CMAT 2021 batch, and we will notify you as to when are the Zoom classes conducted to solve mixed concepts, okay? Which means you will get a problem in the exam which requires you to apply the concept of trains as well as boats. So how do you mix the concept and apply them to reach to the final answer? And that application will be happening in the Zoom classes, okay? We'll solve exam problems on TSD and we'll see all the various types of scenarios in which the concept could be mixed and the problem could be asked to you. Okay, so make sure you get all these concepts from here, and then I'll see you in the Zoom classes for a perfect recall. Have a great learning. Time, speed and distance with the problems on trains. First we'll start with trains, then we'll move on to boats, then we move on to races. And that will be how we'll go ahead with time, speed and distance. Even in trains, there are 6 types of problem, which will help you to identify what are the various types of problem that you can see in trains. And the first episode we start in trains is the terminus. This episode of terminus will help us identify the first type. I told you there are 6 types of problems in train. Type 1 will be studied by the episode of terminus. Now let us understand what is this. The local train, the Mumbai local, start from the terminus which is CST, Chhatrapati Shivaji Terminus. And on its way, it crosses a tree. And the time taken to cross this tree is 10 seconds. That is something given to me in the problem. So this train starts from CST. The problem is not started now. When does the problem start? This train comes and reaches this tree, which means the engine of the train is just touching the tree, and that is when I start this stopwatch. So first question that you need to ask yourself in this problem is, what is this 10 seconds? How do I start the stopwatch and where do I end the stopwatch? So what is this 10 seconds? First understand that the train comes here, the engine just touches the tree and the train crosses its length. Now I stop the stopwatch. So 10 seconds is the time taken by this train to cross this tree completely, and that is our type 1. What is type 1? Train crossing a pole or a stationary object having negligible length. Train crossing a pole or a man or a tree, or you can say train crossing a stationary object having negligible length. What is negligible length? The length of that object is very less as compared to the length of the train, and that's why we call the length to be a negligible length. Now what is given to us, as I told you, what is given to us is the time taken by this train to cross this tree completely. And I told you when will I start the stopwatch and when will I stop the stopwatch. The train is just touching the tree, it crosses the tree completely and I stop the stopwatch. What is given to me? If the length of this train is given to me as 150 meter, find the speed of the train. So I am being given the length of this train is 150 meter. And I am being asked what is the speed of this train. So in the entire chapter we are just going to have one formula: time is equals to distance upon speed. Time is given to me, 10 seconds is the time taken by this train. What is the distance traveled by this train in this 10 seconds? So can you imagine what is the distance traveled by this train in 10 seconds? So the train was here, I started the stopwatch and the train crossed its length. And I stopped the stopwatch. So what is the distance traveled in this case? Length of the train. Length of the train. So in type 1, when train is crossing a stationary object having negligible length, the distance is always the length of the train, which is given to me as 150 meter. Because you have to see, distance is nothing but distance traveled when I start the stopwatch and when I stop the stopwatch. So when I start and stop the stopwatch, what is the distance traveled during that time? In this case, it's the length of the train. So that's why I write it as 150 divided by the speed s. That is something I'm supposed to find out. So s comes out to be what now? 150 upon 10. This gets cancelled. Speed is nothing but 15 meter per second, and that is the speed of the train. But what is being asked to me here? Express the speed in kilometer per hour. So I need to express this in kilometer per hour. So let's convert this from meter per second to kilometer per hour. So let's come here for conversion. This is just to understand you the example. If the speed is given as 18 kilometer per hour and I ask you to convert this to meter per second. So kilometer per hour to meter per second, how will you do that? Then I will come on to meter per second to kilometer per hour, which is our question actually. So if you have to convert this 18 kilometer per hour to meter per second, how will you do? First convert kilometers to meters. In 1 kilometer there are how many meters? 1000. So write 1000 here. In 1 hour there are how many seconds? 60 minutes. 60 minutes, and each of the minutes will have 60 seconds. So 60 into 60 is nothing but 3600 seconds. This is meter, this is second. Kilometer per hour converted to meter per second. Now just cut this. What you get in the end is 2 5s are 10, 2 18s are 36. So 18 kilometer per hour, you multiply this by 5 by 18. So 18 gets cancelled. Your answer comes out to be 5 meter per second. And that is how you convert kilometer per hour to meter per second. Multiply it by 5 by 18. As simple as that. No need for writing all this every time, because in the next problems I'll get many of the times where I'll have to convert kilometer per hour to meter per second or meter per second to kilometer per hour. So just remember, multiply by 5 by 18 to convert from kilometer per hour to meter per second. And in case I'm being asked reverse, meter per second to kilometer per hour. Now I need to go back from here to here. What will I do? Multiply by 18 by 5. That's quite clear now. This 5 gets cancelled. I get the answer as 18. Correct. So kilometer per hour to meter per second. What will you do? Multiply by 5 by 18. And if the reverse is asked, meter per second to kilometer per hour, what will you do? Multiply by 18 by 5. And that's how the problem becomes easy. So what is being given here to me? 15 meter per second. I need to convert it to kilometer per hour. So I'll go for this. Multiply it by 18 by 5. Now what is left is your answer. 5 1s are 5 3s are 15. 18 into 3 is, and now I just multiply 18 into 3. 18 into 3 is nothing but 54. So 54 kilometer per hour is my answer. So 15 meter per second is converted to 54 kilometer per hour. Just multiplying it by 18 by 5. Now we start with the next episode on time, speed and distance, which is the bridge. Now this bridge episode will help me understand type 2 of train. As I told you at the start, there are 6 types of problems on train. So type 2, it could be understood by the episode of the bridge. Now what is being said here? Train is crossing a bridge which is a stationary object having some length. Now if you can compare this with type 1, what did type 1 said? We just studied train is crossing a stationary object having negligible length. The length of the tree which train was crossing was negligible as compared to the length of the train, but this is not the case here. In this case, train is crossing a stationary object having some length. So bridge has a good enough length, maybe the length of the bridge is more than the length of the train. So train is crossing a stationary object having some length is your type 2. What is the distance that we wrote in type 1 if you can recall? What is the distance that we wrote in type 1? Distance was nothing but length of the train. Length of the train. Why? Because as I start the stopwatch and I stop the stopwatch, during that time the train travels its length. The train travels its length during that time. If you can recall, the train travels its length during that time, and that's why we call the distance to be nothing but length of the train. Now when you start the stopwatch and when you stop the stopwatch, what is the distance that is being traveled by the train? That will be the distance that we take in the consideration. Okay, so let's start it here. Time is equals to what? Distance upon speed. This is the formula that I'll use it. What is being given to me? A train of length 250 meters. So length of the train is 250 meter. Crosses a bridge of length 150 meters. So this is a bridge and the length of the bridge is 150 meter. That's why it's type 2, because it is crossing an object having some length. In 20 seconds. Yes, now all you need to know right now is what is this 20 second. Now can you guess what is this 20 second? This 20 seconds, when do I start the stopwatch and when do I stop the stopwatch? So train is here. I didn't start the stopwatch. I didn't start the stopwatch. Stopwatch is still not started. Now the train reaches here, which means the engine of the train is just touching the bridge and I start with the stopwatch. Now when will I stop the stopwatch? The train comes here, crosses this bridge, is here. Will I stop the stopwatch? No. Till now the distance traveled by the train is nothing but length of the bridge. Now the train will travel its length as well. Now the train is traveling its length. You can imagine, train is traveling its length. Now I stop the stopwatch. And this time taken is 20 seconds. So what is the distance traveled by this train in 20 seconds? First, you can see 150 meter, which is the length of the bridge, and then its length itself, which is 250 meter. And then I stop the stopwatch. So what is the distance traveled by the train? Length of the bridge plus length of the train. I stop the stopwatch when this distance is traveled by the train. That's it. So I know it now. Time taken is nothing but 20 seconds. Distance traveled is nothing but 250 plus 150, which comes out to be 400, which is nothing but length of the train plus length of the bridge. Stationary object having some length. Earlier we never had this length. Why? Because the length of the, if there is a tree here, the length of the tree is negligible as compared to the length of the train. So even if I add train plus tree here, there is no point in adding, because the length of the tree is very, very small, and that's why we didn't consider that length in type 1. Divide that by speed, and speed is something that is being asked to me. So S speed comes out to be what? 400 upon 20. So if you cancel, now this is quite simple, 20 meter per second. That's how easy it is. If they ask you to convert it to kilometer per hour, 20 into 18 by 5. This is nothing but 5 ones are 5, 4s are, it comes out to be 18 into 4 is nothing but 72 kilometer per hour, and that will be your answer to this question. So just remember, what is the distance traveled in type 2? Length of the train plus length of the object, because in this case the object is having some length. So we start with the next episode of train, which is the Rajdhani Express. Now this episode will help us understand type 3 of train. What is type 3? Two trains are traveling and both the trains are traveling in the same direction. So what is happening now? This is a Rajdhani Express. This is traveling behind this local train. The question is, this train is crossing this train completely. Okay, and there is a question that is being asked to us. So what is happening now? For the first time, train is crossing an object which is not a stationary object. This train, Rajdhani Express, is crossing this local train, but this local train is not standing at its place, it's moving. So train is crossing another train when both are moving. Earlier we saw type 1 in which train was crossing a tree but the tree was stationary, train crossing an object having negligible length. Then we saw train crossing a bridge, an object having some length, but both were stationary, tree and bridge were stationary. In this case, train is crossing another train and both of them are moving, and that is when the concept called as the relative speed come into the picture, because this Rajdhani Express is crossing this train, but this train, local train, is also moving. It is not a stationary object. If this was a bridge, then it was easy, right? It would have crossed this and then it would have crossed this length. Distance what would be just like the previous type 2, length of the train plus length of the bridge. But then the thing here is it is moving, and that's where relative speeds comes into the picture. Now let's start what is being said to us. Rajdhani Express crosses the Mumbai local train in 20 seconds. Now first of all, let us understand what is this 20 seconds. The 20 seconds, when do I start the stopwatch and when will I stop the stopwatch? So say Rajdhani Express is here, stopwatch is not started. Rajdhani Express comes here, not started. Rajdhani Express comes here and the distance between the two train is 0. This is the important part of type 3. The distance between the Rajdhani and the local train is 0, which means the last bogie of the local train is just touching the engine of the Rajdhani, and that is when I start with the stopwatch. What is happening? This Rajdhani crosses this local train. Yes, will I stop the stopwatch now? No, it will cross its length as well. It will cross its length as well, and now I'll stop the stopwatch. So what is the distance traveled in this case? If you can see, I start the stopwatch now. Distance traveled is length of the local train plus length of the Rajdhani, right? And this time taken is nothing but 20 seconds. When Rajdhani crosses, the length of the local train plus its length. That's it. That is 20 seconds. So I'll write it here. Time is equals to what? Distance upon speed. Time is given to me as 20 seconds. In this 20 seconds, distance travel, as I just rightly pointed out, this is the length of Rajdhani plus length of the local train divided by the speed. But both of them are moving right now, and that is where relative speeds comes into the picture. So let's see what is given to me in the problem. Rajdhani Express crosses the Mumbai local train in 20 seconds. I know now what is the distance travel in that. The speed of the faster train is 72 km per hour. So the speed of Rajdhani is given to me as 72 km per hour. And the speed of the slower train is 27 km per hour. So this is given to me as 27 km per hour. Speed of the local train. The length of the faster train is 100 meter. Which is your faster train? Rajdhani. So this is given to me as 100 meter. Then find the length of the slower train, which means this L. Speed. The length of the local train is asked to me if they are moving in the same direction. I know that they are moving in the same direction. So now imagine if they are here, distance between them is 0. What will you do with the speed? Speed of one is 72 and the speed of another is 27. So what will happen in 1 hour? Imagine what will happen in 1 hour. This train, local train, will move ahead by what? 27 kilometers. Correct, because the speed of this train is 27 km per hour, and this Rajdhani will move by what? 72. Will move by what? 72. But then this Rajdhani got ahead of local train by what? By how many kilometers did it got ahead of this? It got ahead by 72 minus 27. You will say, how is this happening? Because if there was no local train here, and it just has to cross a barrier, which has a length of say L. L is nothing but length of the local train. Then it would have just crossed this barrier, because with the speed of 72, it will go in 1 hour 72. But what is happening? If this goes ahead by 72, this is also going ahead by 27. So as a resultant, this goes ahead, if this is just chasing this goes ahead only by what? 72 minus 27. Because if this went ahead by 72, this also went ahead by 27. So resultant, what did it go ahead? 72 minus 27. Because this thing needs to completely cross this thing. Correct? And that's why you subtract the speed when two trains are traveling in same direction. If you need one more example in the easiest possible way, let's draw two trains here. So say speed of this train is 60 meter per second and speed of this train is 50 meter per second. Now what will happen in 1 second? Imagine this train will move by what? 50 meters. This train will move by 50 meters and this train will move by what? 60 meters. So as a resultant, how much did this train, second train, faster train, move ahead of the second train, which is nothing but 60 minus 50? Correct? Because if this train is moving ahead by 50, this train is moving ahead by 50, this train is moving ahead by 60. So as a resultant, it went ahead of this train only by 10 meters. Because if this is going by 60, this is also going by 50. So if this is chasing this, it went resultant ahead only by 10 meters. So that's why you subtract the speed when two trains are traveling in the same direction. So subtract the speed. I'll subtract the speed as what now? 72 minus 27. 72 minus 27. And that's it. Now I get to my answer. This is 20. This is 100. This is plus L, length of the local train. 27 minus 72 is nothing but 45. But the problem here is this is seconds time. Distance is in meter, but the speed is in kilometer per hour. I need to convert this to meter per second because 72 and 27 are in kilometers. So what will I multiply this by? 5 by 18 because I need to convert this. So now this is how the problem turns out to be. 20 into 45 into 5 by 18 is equals to L plus 100. And I need to find out what is L. So just cut this now. 9 2s are 18, 9 5s are 45, 2 1s are 2 10s are 5 into 5 25 into 10 is nothing but 250. 250 minus 100 is nothing but L. So L comes out to be what? 150 meter, and that is the length of the local train. That is the length of the local train, and that is what I was supposed to find out. So what did we learn from type 3? If two trains are traveling in the same direction, you what do you do with the distance? Distance is nothing but the length of the two trains. And what do you do with the speed? You subtract the speed. Why? Because if first train is moving, second train is also moving. But second train needs to chase first train, right? But if it is moving, this is also moving. So resultant this is moving is nothing but the subtraction of the two. And that's why you subtract the speed. So no type 3. This will help you to solve a lot of problem of trains when trains are moving in the same direction and the distance between them is 0. Now we come on to the next episode of train, which is the Diva crossover. And this will help us understand the type 4 associated with the trains. So till now we know 3 types. First, 2 train crossing the stationary object having negligible length, then having some length, then train crossing another train where both are in the same direction. Now type 4 says train crossing another train but both are in the opposite direction. Moving object, yes, train is crossing another moving object, but distance between them is 0. Yes, this looks just like your type 3. So what is the difference between type 3 and this? Type 3 was train crossing another train, both are traveling in the same direction. Distance between them is 0. Yes, even now in type 4 the distance between them is 0. But now they are traveling in opposite direction, and that's what makes type 4 different. Okay, Diva crossover is the episode which will help us understand 2 trains traveling in the opposite direction. Why it's a crossover now let us understand why it is called as that. So when do I start the stopwatch and when will I stop the stopwatch? 2 trains coming from the opposite side crosses each other in 10 seconds. First, it should be clear in your brain what is this 10 seconds about. So I start the stopwatch when these 2 trains, the distance between them is 0. That is when I start with the stopwatch. Then what do I do with this? This train comes and it crosses this train. It is crossing this train. Will I stop the stopwatch? No. When will I stop the stopwatch? When this train completely crosses this train. So what is the distance traveled in this case? First, length of this local train, yes. Then it travels its length itself. That's it. Now I'll stop the stopwatch. So distance traveled in this case is length of first local train plus length of the second local train. And that will be my distance, because distance is always when do I start the stopwatch and when do I stop the stopwatch. So time is equals to, let's write it here, time is equals to distance upon speed. Time is given to me as 10 seconds. Distance will be length of first local train plus length of the second local train. That's how I'll write the lengths. So what is given to me in the problem now? If the lengths of the first train and second train be 125 and 175 meter respectively, so this becomes simple. This is 125 meter length of one local train, and length of another local train is given to me as 175. So this looks quite simple. Also, the speed of the first train is 36. Find the speed of the second train. So speed of one of the train is given to me as 36 km per hour, and I am being asked what is the speed of the next local train. So when trains travel in the same direction in the previous type, what we do with the speed? We subtract. Why we subtract? We know it. Why we subtract? I told you in the earlier problem. The one train which is traveling in the same direction, but then the other train is also traveling, right? So resultant what is traveled is the subtraction of the two. When trains travel in the opposite direction, this is quite simple. See, this is one train and this is another train. Okay, the distance between them is say 1000 meters. The speed of this train is say 60 meter per second, and the speed of this train is say 40 meter per second. What is happening in 1 second? This is traveling by 60 and this is traveling by 40. So what is happening? What happens in 1 second? They have to cover, see, imagine this distance is what they will have to cover. Distance, something is they have to cross over, right? So this distance is what they have to cover. This and then this will travel here. So what is happening in 1 second? Who is covering what distance? Let's say this is R. So in 1 hour this will cover this much part, and this will also cover. This train is also covering the distance. So what are they doing with the distance? They are adding the distance that they have to travel with the speed, because this is the total distance they have to travel, right? So if this is adding to the distance, this is also adding from here, right? So what do you do with the speed? You add the speeds when two trains are traveling in the same direction, because the total distance that you have to cover is being added by the two speed. This is the crossover distance I have to cover. So if this is covering in 1 hour, this is also covering in 1 hour, right? So both the speeds need to be added when two trains travel in the opposite direction. So remember this, same direction you subtract, because one train subtracts the speed of the other, and in opposite direction you add, because one train adds to the speed of the other to cover the total distance, which is nothing but the length of the two trains. Try and visualize this. How are the speed being added, and why are the speed being added? It's easier to mug up this thing that same direction subtract, opposite direction add, but why do you add? Because the total distance is covered by their speed in opposite, so you add, and the total distance is subtracted as one train is moving ahead of another train in same direction. That's the concept of adding and subtracting. So let's just put this here now. I'll add the speed of one train is given to be 36 km per hour, but what is this? This is meter, this is meter, this is second. So I'll convert this 36 into meter per second. 5 by 18, 18 ones are 18 twos are 5 into 2, this becomes 10. If you're wondering why did I write 10 meter per second, because I need to convert this to meter per second, as this is in meter, this in meter, and this is in second. Now plus the length of another, speed of another train, let that be s, because the speeds will be added. So speed of one train is 10, let the speed of another train be s. That's it. Now you're just supposed to solve this to reach to your answer. So 10 into 10 becomes 100 plus 10s is equals to 300. Correct? So 10s is equals to what? 200. So s is equals to what? 20 what? Meter per second. And that's how simple it is to reach to the answer. If you need to convert this to kilometer per hour, what will you do? Meter per second into kilometer per hour, you will multiply this by 18 by 5. 5 ones are 5 fours are 18 into 4, 72 kilometer per hour. So speed of one train is 36, speed of another train is 72 kilometer per hour. So what did we learn from type 4? Two trains traveling in opposite direction, distance between them is 0. It means engine of this train is touching the engine of next train. Obviously they both are on different tracks, but what is the distance traveled in this case? Length of two trains, just like the bridge, just like the type 3. But do you add the speed in this case? And you know the reason as to why do you add, because the total distance that is being covered is added by the speeds, and that's why you add the speed when train travel in opposite direction. So remember type 4, it will help you to solve many of the problems related to trains. We start with the next episode on train, which is the twins. So these two local trains that you see in this are twins. Now what is being said here? We understand type 5 by this, yes, but what is type 5? Train crossing another train, both travel in the same direction. Is this a repetition? We have done this before. Train crossing another train, both are traveling in the same direction. That was our type 3, which we understood by the example of Rajdhani Express. But what was given there was the distance between them is 0, which means the engine of Rajdhani Express is touching the last bogie of the local train. The distance between them is 0. But now what is given here is the distance between the two train is given to me. Let's move on to this. Yes, these are twins. The distance between the two train is given, and that's what makes this type different. Two trains are there, yes, they are traveling in the same direction, yes, just like your type 3, but in this case I am being given the distance between the two trains. And what is being asked to me, when will this train catch this train? Now this is also important. What is the meaning of catch? This train came here, time has started now, this train is going and it just catch, that's it. When will this train catch this train? The question is not when will this train completely cross the another train. Then it would have been type 3. Completely cross means crossing its length plus crossing its own length. Crossing the length of the another twin train and crossing its own length. That would be a crossover, right? But that is not the question here. When will this train just catch this train? It means you will have to come to type 3 and stop. Right, Rajdhani Express just came, it was somewhere else, let's keep it here, it was somewhere else, it just came and it just caught it here, and this is where you have to stop, and you have to stop thinking other than that. So make sure what you are supposed to know in this. When will the first train catch the another train is the only question that I have it here. See, for crossover you will also need the length of two train, which will not be given to you in such kind of problem. So obviously then it's a type 5. You're just being asked when will the first train catch the another train and not cross over. So remember this, catch and crossover. Now what is being said? A fast moving train is trying to catch, very important, a slower train. The speed of the fast train is 150 km per hour, okay, and this distance between the two train is 450 kilometers. As I told you, the distance between them will be given to me, which is nothing but 450 kilometers. This is given to me. It takes 5 hours for the faster train to catch the slower train. So I start my stopwatch. It takes 5 hours for this train to come here and stop. So in 5 hours it travels 450 and it just catches this train. So that is something which is given to me. Find out the speed of the slower train. Okay, so I'll start with my basic formula. The only formula I know here, time is equals to distance upon speed. Time is given to me as 5 hours. In 5 hours, what is the distance that is being traveled by this train? Because this train is supposed to catch this train, right? So I'll just compare everything from the point of view of this train. So distance traveled is nothing but 450 km, correct? Speed. I need to write the speed of this train. Ideally, if this was stationary, I would have just written the speed of this train as train crossing the bridge. I hope you remember that, type 2. But what is happening? This train is moving and this train is also moving. So this train is moving subtraction of the speed. What is the speed of this train? Fast train is moving at 150 km per hour. If this train was at stationary, I would have taken the speed as what? 150 km per hour. If the first train was stationary. Right? But what is the thing? It is not stationary. So it is also moving. And what do we write the resultant speed then? It will move by 150, correct, in 1 hour, 150 km per hour, but it will be subtracted from the speed of the next train, because the next train is also moving ahead by certain hour in certain kilometers in 1 hour, right? So x kilometer per hour, let that be the speed of this train. Because if this is moving by 150, I would have written 150 if it was stationary, the first train, but this is also moving, so it is actually a subtraction of 2 speed. And if you just want to know it by simple way, 2 trains traveling in the same direction, you always subtract the speed. Okay, and because you are thinking of the speed of this train relative to the speed of this, right? And that's why if this is moving by 150 kilometer in 1 hour, but this is also going ahead by something, so as a resultant, when I relate it with the speed of other, you will say, okay, if this x is say 100, if example, it will move 150 minus 100, it will move resultant of only 50. Okay, that's just an example. That's just an example to let you understand. Okay, I hope you get the point to why I subtract the speed. This is actually not 100, so this is actually not 50. This is just an example to let you know if this was the case, this would have happened. Now let us just find it out. We already know the answer now. Now this is the plot that is being given to me. Let's cut this. This is 5 ones are 5 nines are 45 0. So what comes out to be here? 150 minus x is equals to 90. So x turns out to be what? 90 minus 150 is nothing but 60. That's it. So the speed is nothing but 60 kilometer per hour. That is the speed of the next train. So that's how you get the plot for it. As I know, everything is in kilometer hour. Yes, so I'll get it in kilometer per hour. So now you can say if the speed of this train is 60 kilometer per hour, which means what will happen in 1 hour. Now imagine a case. This is speed is 150. The distance between them is 450 kilometers, and the second train is here. The speed of this is nothing but 60 kilometer per hour. Now imagine what will happen in 1 hour. What will happen in 1 hour? The speed of this is 150 kilometer per hour. This will go ahead by what? This will go ahead by 150 in 1 hour. But this will also go ahead by what? 60. This will also go ahead by 60. So resultant, this is moving to chase him what? 150 minus 60, because this is also moving. So resultant, it is moving only by what? 90. Okay, and that's how you get it. If you want to imagine a scenario, see, this train catches this train in 5 hours. So 150 kilometer per hour, how much will it travel in 5 hours? 150 into 5 is what? 15 5 is 750. So it will travel a distance of 450 plus 350 more from here. It will travel, this is 350 more from here, correct? 450 plus 300, 450 plus 300, it will be 750. What will this train travel in 5 hours? Speed is 60 kilometer per hour, so 60 into 5, this train will travel 300. Check it, it's the same 300. This train will travel 300. This train will travel 450 plus that additional 300, such that this train will travel 750 and this train will travel 300. So this 450 which this train was supposed to cover, it will cover, and it will cover additional 300 which this train has traveled in 5 hours. Okay, such that a total of 450 plus 300 it will cover to catch this distance at a distance of 750 kilometers from this point. So if I say this point is A and they meet at a point B, what is distance AB? That is 750 kilometers. So imagine a scenario and try and solve such problems. It is easier to know that when trains travel in same direction, you subtract the speed, but it is important to understand why it is called as a relative speed, because you relate the speed of the second train with the speed of the first train. If the first train was stationary, then you wouldn't have compared the two speeds. You would have just went with type 1 and type 2. Since both are moving, that is when you need to see what is the resultant movement of the second train with respect to the movement of the first train. And I hope the twins episode gives you a good visualization of why do you subtract the speed. So now we come on to the last episode of studying the types of problems. So I told you there are 6 types of problem, and we are on to the type 6. And this episode, which will explain as type 6, is the meat. What is happening in this episode of Meet and what is type 6? Two trains are traveling in the opposite direction. Yes, this looks quite similar. We had done this. Two trains traveling in opposite direction. The Diva crossover. You remember that? That was type 4. What was given? The distance between the two trains here was but 0. How is this different from type 6? Here the distance was 0, which means the engine of this train was touching the engine of this train, and the question was, when will these two trains cross each other, completely cross each other? Okay, that's why we wrote the distance to be length of two trains, right? This was our type 4. How is type 6 different? Type 6 is saying me, I am giving you the distance between the two trains. So this is one train, this is another train. The distance between them is given. When will this train meet this train? That's it. Stop here. When will this train meet this train? So I am giving you the distance between the two trains. They are traveling in the opposite direction. When will this train come and meet this train? And the problem ends here. The problem is not saying when will they completely cross each other. In that case, you will need the length of two trains, which will not be given to you in case of type 6 problem. The only thing that will be given to you is the distance between the two trains. So I hope you understand what is the difference between type 4 and type 6. Actually, type 4 starts from type 6. If you stop here, now if I ask you when will they completely cross each other, this is nothing but your type 4. So type 4 actually starts once you complete type 6, which is when they meet then they'll cross. Okay, now I'm just asking you when will they meet. So let's start by understanding how will this happen. So let me give you the distance between the two trains is nothing but 1000 meters. This is given to me in the problem, and say the speed of one train, this train is given to me as 60 meter per second, and say speed of this train is given to me as 40 meter per second, and the question that is being asked to me is, when will this two train meet? When will this two train meet? So I'm being asked time is equals to distance upon speed. This two train will have to cover together a distance of 1000 to meet, right? They together will have to cover a distance of 1000 to meet. Now what is happening with their speed? Now imagine this train, this is one train. Now how is this train moving in 1 second? How is this train moving in 1 second? 60 meters it will move. And how will this train move in 1 second? 40 meters. So they both are doing what? They both are adding with their speed to the distance. They both are adding with their speed to the distance. It means the distance of 1000 is covered together by them. That's why what do? You add their speeds. Just take one more example. What will happen in 2 seconds? This will cover 60 plus 60, 120. This will cover 40 plus 40, 80. So they are coming close to 1000, but they are doing it together. They are not cutting each other's speeds, which happens when they travel in the same direction. They add to the distance. So just add it. This becomes what? 60 plus 40. I'll add this. So time becomes what? 1000 upon 100, which is nothing but 10 seconds. So they will meet in 10 seconds, and that's my answer to the question. They'll meet in 10 seconds. Now if you want to further visualize what will happen in 10 seconds, so what is the speed of this train? 60 meter per second. So in 10 seconds it will travel 600 meter, which is this into 10. What is the speed of this train? 40 meter per second. So in 10 seconds it will travel 400 meters, which is nothing but 40 into 10. So what are they traveling? This train is traveling 600 from here, correct? And this train is traveling 400 from here. So together they travel 1000, correct? 600 plus 400, together they travel 1000. Now I can just complicate the problem by saying that this is point A, this is point B, and this is point O. Point O is where they meet. So what is the ratio of AO is to BO? Which is nothing but 6 is to 4 and 3 is to 2. As simple as that. So just know, why do we add the speeds when two trains travel in opposite direction? And in this case, in type 6, I'm not asking you about the crossover. For crossover, you will need the length of two train, which is not given to you in type 6 kind of problem. They will just ask when will the two trains meet. Okay, and that's how we end with all the types of that we have seen till now. I hope you remember all of them. We started with the terminus, train crossing a stationary object having negligible length. In this case, the distance is nothing but the length of the train. Then train crossing a stationary object having some length. The distance is nothing but length of the object plus length of the train. So length of the bridge plus length of the train. Train crossing another train, type 3, Rajdhani Express we saw. So distance is nothing but length of two trains, but speed will be subtracted because one train is going ahead of another train, so it kills the speed of another train. That's why we subtract the speed when trains are traveling in same direction, and the distance is 0 here. Then we came on to type 4, Diva crossover, which is two trains traveling in opposite direction, distance is 0. When will they completely cross each other? So we add the speed of the two trains because they are adding on to the total distance that they have to cover, and that's how we completed with this. Then we came into the twins, two trains traveling in the same direction, but distance between them is given. And when will another train not cross over? Catch the other train. Catch the other train. You will subtract the speed here. Why? Because one train is killing the speed of the another train because it is subtracting it. If the second train is traveling, the first train is also traveling. So the second train is traveling relative to the speed of the first train, and that's why you subtract the speed in this case. And then we saw the last step, which was meet. Two trains traveling in the opposite direction, so you add the speed because they are adding on to the distance which they are traveling. Okay, and that's how with the 6 episodes of the meet, the Diva crossover, the twins, the Rajdhani Express, the bridge, and the terminus, we finish with the types on trains. Okay, in the next few classes, we will see on to few of the problems related to this type. So revise all the 6 types. Make sure you know all 6 of them because it is important for you to know all 6 types, the conditions for that. Then we can eventually move on to solve problems on that. And problems that you get in the exam will be a mixture of the types. So it can be a mixture of type 1 and type 2, type 2 and type 3, and so on. So make sure you know these types before we jump on to the problems. Welcome to the next episode on train, which is Catch Me If You Can. Now after solving the types, we come on to solve problems on trains. So let's see what is this problem saying. Two trains leave Thane station at a difference of 4 hours. The first train leaves at 8 am at 40 km per hour, and the faster train leaves later at 60 km per hour. So this is like two trains traveling in the same direction, but then what is happening? First train is leaving at 8 am and the second train leaves after 4 hours. So first train leaves at 8 am and that is a speed. This is speed of the slower train that is given to me. And after that, after 4 hours, another train moves from the same Thane station, and it moves at the speed of 60 km per hour. So this is the speed of the faster train. And what is the first question that is being asked to me? At what time will the faster train catch the slower train? So first train left at 8 am, right? Given this as a reference, when will the faster train catch the slower train? What will be the time of the day during that time, and what is the distance from Thane? And what is the distance from Thane when this train overtakes in this case is nothing but catch, right? This is nothing but catch, because for you to find out the overtake, you need to know what the lengths of the two train, which was not given in this case. So all that you can find out in this case is when will this train catch the another train. So let's imagine a scenario and let's see what is this type. So let's keep this train here. This train has not come here. What is the time right now? The time right now is 8 am. 8 am is the time right now. So this train started at 8 am. And then what happened? It moved at the speed of what? 40 km per hour. So it moved at the speed of 40 km per hour. So can you tell me how much it will move in 4 hours? Because the next train started from the Thane station after 4 hours. So it means 8 am, you add 4 hours, it will be what? 12 pm. In 12 pm, this train would have traveled a distance of what? Its speed is 40 km per hour. So 40 into 4 is nothing but what? 160 kilometers. Correct. This train would have traveled a distance of 160 kilometers. So let's put this train at a place where it belongs. So this train is there. This would have traveled a distance of 160 kilometers, and this train reached to this place. So, and this distance is nothing but 160 kilometers. Because now it was earlier 8 am, now it is 12 pm. Now the time is nothing but 12 pm. So now it is 12 pm. And what is happening at 12 pm? This next train, which is here, it comes to the Thane station. Now the question is, when will this train, which has a speed of what? This is also given to me. The speed is 60 km per hour. And the speed of this train is already known to me, is 40 km per hour. Now the question is, when will this train catch this train? Could you imagine which is this type now? We had done this earlier. Two trains traveling in the same direction, distance between them is given. We did this in the episode of Twins, if you can remember. Time is equals to distance upon speed. Distance is nothing but the distance between the two trains that is given to us. So I'll just start with the same approach. I'll say I need to find out time, right? So time is nothing but distance upon speed. Distance is nothing but the distance between the two trains, which is 160. Trains are traveling in the same direction. So speed of one train will kill the speed of another train, or the speed of this train is 60. This is relative to the speed of this. So if this moves by 60, at the same time this also moves by 40. So resultant, it moves 60 minus 40. Correct? Two trains traveling in the same direction, you subtract the speed, so this becomes 60 minus 40, because the speed of this train is relative to the speed of this train. This moving by 60, this is also moving by 40, so resultant, it moves in 1 hour only by 20. So I'll write this as time is equals to 160 upon 20. So 2 gets cancelled, 2 1s are 2 8s are. Time is equals to what? 8 hours. 8 hours after what? 8 hours after 12 pm, because we started the problem from 12 pm. So add 8 hours to 12 pm. 8 hours to 12 pm is nothing but 8 pm. 8 pm is when this train will catch this train. Okay, just catch this train. Overtake is obviously not possible because you need the lengths of two trains. Then that would be a different type that we have seen earlier. Okay, crossing each other, which is not a case in this problem. So first question is answered. This two train will meet, or this train will catch this train at 8 pm. This is answered. What distance from Thane when one train overtakes or catch another train? When one train catches another train, what is the distance from Thane? So what is the speed of this train? 60 km per hour, and it will catch after 8 hours. So do 60 into 8. 60 into 8 is nothing but 480. 60 into 8 is 480 kilometers is when this train will catch this train. And if you want to further visualize how will this happen, so say this is Thane station. Yes, this is Thane. Say this is say Kalyan station, just for example, and this train is traveling beyond Kalyan. For how many hours this train is traveling? For 8 hours. So let's imagine 4 into 8, this will be what? 40 into 8, right? This is traveling at a speed of 40 km per hour. So after 12 pm it would have traveled 40 into 8 is nothing but 320. 320 from where? 320 from here. And say they met here at say Karjat station. So this train started from Thane, this train started from Kalyan. What is the distance from Kalyan to Karjat? It is 320. What is the distance from Thane to Kalyan? 160. So this train traveled actually from Thane to Karjat, right? This train traveled because 480. Imagine this 480 is nothing but 160, which is Thane to Kalyan, and 160 plus 320, which is Kalyan to Karjat. So this train actually traveled a total distance of 480, covering 160 from Thane to Kalyan and then 320 from Kalyan to Karjat. Whereas this train was already standing at Kalyan and it traveled a distance of 320, which was from Kalyan to Karjat. Right? And what is the question asking me? What distance from Thane when the one train overtakes the other? It would be 480. Because this train will catch this train at Karjat. And what is the distance of Karjat to Thane? It is nothing but 480. Okay, I hope you got the visualization of how is this problem happening. So know first how to write a plot, and then just think of, okay, which type will I apply to reach to my answer. So after trains, we start with the problem on boats and streams. What is the first thing that you are supposed to know when we start with the problem on boats and streams? You need to know that there are 4 types of speed. Speed of the boat in still water, speed of the stream, upstream speed and downstream speed. Now what are these? Let us understand one at a time. What is speed of the boat? Say this is the boat and the speed of the boat is given. What is speed of the boat? If this boat is going in a lake where the speed of the stream, that is speed of the river, is 0, then what will be the speed of the boat? How much can this boat go by itself without the force of the stream? So that will be the speed of the boat. It means if I keep this boat in a lake where there is 0 speed of the stream, at what speed will this boat travel by itself? That is speed of the boat in still water. Then comes the second concept, which is called as speed of the stream. Speed of the stream. As the name says, it is the speed of this stream. The speed at which this stream is flowing. The stream is flowing. That will be the speed of the stream. The speed of the river, you can say in this case. Second, if you have something called as upstream speed and a downstream speed. Now, how do you understand this? What is a downstream speed? This boat is going with the flow of river. And when this boat is going with the flow of river, means with the direction of stream. Stream is flowing in this direction, and so is the boat is moving in this direction. So this boat, it will be called as downstream speed. Remember this, downstream, going down, going with the flow of river. Going with the flow of river. So what will you call downstream speed to be? It will be called as B, which is speed of the boat in still water. And if I call the speed of the stream to be S, it will be called as B plus S. Because boat has a speed of B and the stream is giving boat a speed of S. So the resultant speed of the boat becomes B plus S, and that is your downstream speed. Downstream means going down, going with the flow of the stream. That is one way to remember this. Last, we have something called as an upstream speed. So let's write everything we know till now. B is the speed of the boat in still water. S is the speed of the stream. Downstream speed is B plus S, where the boat is going along with the flow of stream. Now let's look at this boat for upstream speed. This boat will have something called as upstream speed. Why? I hope you are able to guess it right now. Why this boat will have upstream speed? Because this boat is going against the stream. The stream is flowing in this direction. This is your speed of the stream and the direction of the stream. While this boat is coming in this direction, which is against the stream. So what will happen if the speed of this boat is B? It will be pushed backward by the speed of this stream. It will be pushed backward. So what will be the resultant speed of the stream and the boat? That will be equal to B minus S. That will be equal to B minus N, and that will be called as your upstream speed. That will be called as your upstream speed, which will be B minus S. So I hope you get all the 4 concepts. What is B? Speed of the boat in still water. If the boat is going in a lake, what will be the speed of this boat? S is the speed of a stream. How much is the speed of the stream when the boat will be pushed? That is the speed of the stream. Upstream speed is when the boat is moving against the stream, so it will be B minus S. Downstream speed is when the boat is moving with the stream, so that the stream will add speed to the boat. Now, as we solve problems on boats and streams, you need to ask yourself only one question. Which of the 4 speed is given in the question? Is it B, is it S, is it B minus S or B plus S? And that is what will help you to solve majority of the problems on boats and streams. So let's take a few problems on boats. We start with backwaters. So we understand boats and streams by the story of backwaters. Now, what is backwaters? It's a place situated in the beautiful city of Kerala. At backwaters, tourist guide help tourists to explore various destinations. Okay. Now here we are talking about Kelva tourism, which is owned by Belva, Salva and Malwa. So what is Kelva tourism doing? They are taking tourists to the various destination points at backwaters. And this is a problem related to their travel. And what is the problem saying? Speed of the boat is given to me as 20 km per hour. So as per what we have understood, different types of speed. What is this B? B is given to me as 20 km per hour. That is the speed of the boat. Rate of flow of river is 4 km per hour. So this is nothing but S, speed of the stream is 4 km per hour. Distance from source point to the sunset point is given to be as 120 km. Okay, so what's that now? This is the source point from where they are started, and this is the sunset point. This is the sunset point. This distance is given to me as 120 km. So this distance is 120 kilometers. The time taken to go from the source point to the sunset point is same as the time taken to travel from the sunset point to the ocean point. What is the meaning of that? So what did Kelva Tourism Boat did in this case? They started from the source point, then they went on to the sunset point. From the sunset point they went on to the ocean point. So this was their travel. Something like this. The time taken to travel from source point to the sunset point is the same time taken to travel from the sunset point to the ocean point. I am being told that the distance from the source point to the sunset point is 120 kilometers. Tell me what is the distance from the sunset point to the ocean point. So I am supposed to find out what? I'm supposed to find out this distance. This is something that I want to know now. And what is being told to me? The time taken. So if I say that the time taken to travel from this year to year, the time taken here is, say for example, T. What is T? It could be anything. The same is the time taken to travel from one part to the other, which is your sunset point to the ocean point. This time taken is same. So this will also be equal to what? T. Something that I know about the problem. And I am being asked what is the distance between this. So I am telling let that distance, this white, let that be X. I need to find out this distance and my problem is solved. So let's start with what all do we know right now. So I'll start by saying that what do I know right now? I know that the time taken to travel from source, I'll say time taken to travel from source to the sunset point. That will be equal to what? As we have studied this in train, time is equals to what? Distance upon speed. Now what is the distance traveled in this case? What is the distance from the source point to the sunset point? So time is equals to distance, which is nothing but 120 kilometers given to me. 120 kilometers. Upon what will I do? What will I put it here? Upon speed. What is the speed of the boat? Now this boat, it is being told that when it is going from the source point to the sunset point, it is going downstream. I am being told this in the question. This is the flow of the river. If this is the flow of the river, it is going with the flow. So it is going downstream. What is downstream speed? We have studied this. That will be equal to B plus S. So now the speed of the boat. What is the speed of the boat? Speed of their boat in still water. That is given to me. As 20 km per hour. But since the boat is going with the flow of the stream, the boat has a downstream speed right now. And that will be equal to B plus S. So what is S? What is S? Rate of flow of river. That is given to me as 4 km per hour. So this downstream speed will become what? 20 plus 4. This will become 24 km per hour. That will be the downstream speed. So I'll divide in this case. Time is equals to distance upon speed. Speed is 24. Which is this speed? This is downstream speed. Why downstream speed? Because from the source point to the sunset point, it is going with the flow of stream. With the flow of stream. That is given to me in the question. So what comes out to be time? Let's just check. Times comes out to be what? 24 into 5 is 120. So T comes out to be 5. Now this T and this T is nothing but the same thing. So if this is 5, this is also equal to 5. Because the time taken to travel from source point to the sunset point is same as the time taken to travel from sunset to the ocean point. Now let's go out from sunset to the ocean point. Now what is happening from sunset to the ocean point? Time is equals to distance upon speed. Okay, now let's write it here. Time taken to travel will be 5. Why? Because the time is same. Distance is something that I'm supposed to find out. Let that be x. And speed, now it is being told to me that it is going with an upstream speed. Why? Because this is going against the flow. Initially we went downstream, but from here to here it is going against the flow because the flow is in this direction and the boat is moving in this direction. So it is going against the flow. What is upstream speed? As we have seen, that is nothing but b minus s. That will be equal to b minus s. So what is b? 20 minus 4, it will be 16. That will be b minus s, and that is nothing but my upstream speed. Upstream is against the flow. So what do I get in the end? X is nothing but 16 into 5. What is that now? 80. That's it, 80 kilometers. 80 kilometers. Why? Because my speed, this 120 distance was given in terms of kilometer. The speed was in terms of kilometer per hour. So I got the time which was here in hour. And this again was in kilometer per hour. So I got the distance which is in kilometer. That's it. This is what I was supposed to find out. So the distance between your sunset point and the ocean point is nothing but 80 kilometers. That is what the question was asking me. So this solves my question at backwaters. That's how you're supposed to apply the concept of 4 speeds that you have learned in boats and streams. We start with the backwaters midpoint. Now the Kelva tourism boat is going from river point to ocean point. And in between river point to ocean point, exactly in between that, there is a point which is called as a midpoint. And the midpoint is equidistant from river point and ocean point. It means if this distance is 20 kilometers, river point and midpoint, then ocean point and midpoint will also have a distance of 20 kilometers. So that is, the midpoint is equidistant from river point as well as your ocean point. Boat can go from river point to midpoint and back in 5 hours 15 minutes. So what do you mean by this? What is actually the meaning of this? So boat can go from river point to midpoint. So let's say the boat is going now from river point to midpoint, and it can come back. So if it is coming back, now this total time of going as well as coming back is nothing but this 5 hours 15 minutes. Total time taken to go to the midpoint and come back to the river point. It means that the boat never really reached the ocean point here. Which of this is an upstream and which is a downstream? I don't know because this could be an upstream, or this could be a downstream, or this is an upstream, or this is a downstream. Till now I don't know which of the two is an upstream or a downstream. So first question, I need to find out that as well. From the river point to the ocean point, it can move in 7 hours. Now one more condition is given. If the boat travels directly from the river point to the ocean point, which means from here to here, directly the boat is going, it will take how many hours? It will take 7 hours. It takes 7 hours for boat to go from here to here. Now this is quite clear. This is quite clear. Now what is question asking me? How long will it take to go from ocean point to river point? Which means if I go back, which means if I am coming like this back. Okay, I know how long will it take to go from river to ocean, but if I come from ocean to river, how much of time will it take is the question that is being asked to us. Okay, so let's start by understanding what is given to us and on what possibly can be deduced from this. So what is being said to me? 7 hours is the time required to go from river point to ocean point. Is it an upstream or a downstream? Till now I don't know. But if 7 hours is required to go from river point to ocean point, it means 3.5 hours. 3.5 hours will be required to go from, if I just take this now, 3.5 hours will be required to go from river point to midpoint, and the next 3.5 hours will be required to go from midpoint to the ocean point. That is quite clear. Why this is happening? Because this is a midpoint. If you are telling me total 7 hours are required, it will be split up into 3.5 and 3.5 hours. 3.5 means 3 hours 30 minutes. That is quite clear because midpoint is exactly in the middle of river point and the ocean point. So the time will also be split up. Now to go, now this is nothing but this. This is nothing but this. To go, time required is 3.5. To go and come, the time required is 5 hours 15 minutes, which means just to come. To go and come, time required is 5 hours 15 minutes. Just to go, the time required is 3.5 hours. So if I subtract from 5 hours 15 minutes, I take out this 3.5 because this is the time required to go. I'll get the time required to come. Come from midpoint to the ocean point. So now I'll get this midpoint to the ocean point. What is the time required? So let's just subtract. 3.5 hours means what? 3 hours 30 minutes. I need to reach here. So if I add 30 minutes to that will be 4. 1 more hour, that will be 5. 1 hour 30 minutes plus 15 minutes. 1 hour 30 minutes plus 15 minutes. This is nothing but 1 hour 45 minutes. Correct? 1 hour 45 minutes is this now. 1 hour 45 minutes is this. Time required to come from midpoint to the river point. Now, whatever this is the time, you have to double that time. You have to double that time, and that will be the time required to come from ocean point to the river point, to the midpoint. Sorry, because this also has to be same. Why this is same? 3.5. So this coming time will also be same. If this is 1 hour 45 minutes, this time to come from ocean point to midpoint should also be 1 hour 45 minutes. Why? Because midpoint is exactly in between river point and ocean point. So the time required to get back from midpoint to the river point will be the same time that is required to come from ocean point to the midpoint. Okay, and now you can also know what is an upstream or a downstream. Not required to get the answer. This 3.5 would be your upstream. And when you are coming back, this is nothing but downstream. Why this is a downstream? Because less of the time is required. The boat is helped by the stream flow. This is also your downstream. So when you add upstream plus upstream, you get the total upstream time, which is 7 hours. When you will add downstream plus downstream, you will get the total time which is required to come from here to here. So let's add 1 hour 45 plus 1 hour 45. This becomes 2 hours 90. 2 hours 90 minutes. If I have to split this, 60 minutes will be 1 hour. So 3 hours, and then what is left now? 30 minutes. That's it. This is your answer. 3 hours 30 minutes is the time that is required to come from ocean point to the river point. So make sure you break problem into parts. Once you break problem into parts, the solution to the problem becomes easier. So now we are at backwaters round trip. Now what is this round trip about? The Kelva tourism boat goes to the top from riverfront to the peak front. And that is something that is an upstream that is given to us. So the boat is going against the stream flow. The stream flow is towards down. If you can see, the stream flow is towards down. And the boat first goes from riverfront to the peak front, which is an upstream going against the flow. Then what is happening? Then the boat comes downstream. Downstream means coming with the flow. Coming with the flow. That is the backwaters round trip. Going from the riverfront to the peak front and from the peak front to the riverfront back. Upstream and downstream. The total distance is given to me as 120 kilometers. And what else? The round trip take 5 hours. Correct. I don't know the split up, how much of time is required to go for upstream and downstream. Obviously downstream time is less, but the total time required is 5 hours. Speed of the stream is given to me as 10 km per hour. So I know S, speed of the stream, is 10 km per hour. How long did the upstream journey take? So I am being asked the time for this upstream journey. Time is equals to distance upon speed. I already know what is the distance. I need to know the speed. And what will be the speed for upstream? B minus S. I also know what is S, speed of the stream. All that I need right now is the speed of the boat. If I know speed of the boat, then my problem is solved. So let's go ahead and find speed of the boat with whatever is given to us. So I'll start now. First, the round trip take 5 hours. So time, total time is equals to time for upstream plus time for downstream. Total time, so time is equals to what? 5 hours. This 5 hours is equals to upstream time plus downstream time. So upstream, what is the distance traveled? 120. What will be the upstream speed? That will be equal to B minus S. But S is already given to me as 10 km per hour. The speed of the stream is 10 km per hour. That is given to me. So I'll write it here as B minus 10. Plus I'll write downstream, which will again be equal to what? Just like upstream, distance upon speed. Distance is nothing but 120. Speed, since it's a downstream, I'll write it at B plus S. And S is nothing but again 10 km per hour. So I'll write it here as this. So this is one equation that I can see which is formed. And now I'll have to go ahead and get this B out of this, because B is the only variable in this. So let's go ahead and solve this. So how will I solve this? Keep the 5 here. Take 120 out. What are you left with? Then you are left with 1 upon B minus 10 plus 1 upon B plus 10. It will be easier to solve this. Now just cut this. How will you cut this? This is 5 ones are 5 2s are 10, 2 0, 5 4s are 20. So this turns out to be what? This is equal to now 1 upon 24 is equals to B plus 10 plus B minus 10. So this turns out to be 2B. 2B upon, because plus 10 minus 10 will get cancelled. This is B minus 10 into B plus 10, A plus B into A minus B. This turns out to be A square minus B square. And that's how I get it. Now how do I solve this? This looks like a quadratic. B square, okay, minus 10 square is equals to 24 into 2 is equals to what? 48B. Now if I keep this becomes B square minus 48B minus 100 is equals to 0. Now this is the pure quadratic equation. I'll solve this quadratic and I'll get to my final value. So B square minus 48B minus 100 is equals to 0. So now I need what? Two numbers whose multiplication is 100 and since these are 2 minus, subtraction is 48. So what will I pick up? 52s are 100. 52s are 100 and 50 minus 2 will be 48. So that's how I'll split this up. So I'll write this up as B square minus 50B plus 2B minus 100 is equals to 0. Now take out B common from here. What is left is B minus 50. Take out 2 common here. What is left is B minus 50 is equals to 0. So what am I left with? B minus 50 if I take it out into B plus 2 is equals to 0. So what are you left with? B is equals to then minus 2 or B is equals to 50. Now speed of the boat cannot be negative. Speed of the boat cannot be negative. So obviously B is equals to 50. Once I get B, that's where I started. I know B now. Speed of the boat is equals to what? 50 km per hour. 50 km per hour. What am I supposed to know? How long did the upstream journey take? So time is equals to distance. The distance for upstream is 120 upon speed. What is the speed for upstream? That will be equal to B minus S. So what is B? 50. 50 minus 10, because S is 10. You know, 50 minus 10. So this comes out to be 40. So this gets cancelled. 4 1s are 4 3s are. So the time taken for upstream is 3 hours. And what will be if they ask what is the time for downstream? It will be 2 hours. Why? Because the total time is 5 hours. So that's it. I get the answer. The time taken for upstream is 3 hours. Okay, that's how simple to solve this problem once you know the concept related to upstream and downstream. Now we start with backwater houseboats. So this is something about houseboats. What is being told now? Kelva Tourism, which is owned by Belva, Salva and Malva, drops tourists to the houseboat point every day. So they drop tourists to this houseboat. So this is your houseboat. This is the houseboat point. They do it every day. So they go from the source point to the houseboat point on a daily basis. Speed of the boat in still water is 10 km per hour. So this is the speed of their boat, which is given to us as 10 km per hour. So we know B is given to us in the question. Out of the 4 speeds, we know the speed of the boat. And it 20 hours for them to execute this journey. It take 20 hours for them to go from this source point to the houseboat and then coming back. It take 20 hours for them to execute this journey. And what else is given is this distance. This distance is nothing but 91 kilometers. The distance between the source point and the houseboat point is nothing but 91 kilometers. What is being asked? Find the rate of flow of river, which is nothing but they are asking us what is the speed of the stream. What is the speed of the stream? Now, in which direction will you say that the stream is moving? I don't know. That is something what is not told to me in the question. The stream can be moving in this direction, like say the stream can be this, yes, or the flow of the stream could be this. But then what do I realize from this? Whatever it is, once it is going upstream and the another time it is going downstream. So if you are saying that the flow is this, then while going it is going what? Downstream. And while coming it is coming by upstream. And if you are saying that the flow is this, then by going it is going by upstream, then coming by downstream. But whatever the flow of the river is, once it is going downstream and once it is coming upstream. That is something that is quite clear to me while I look at this problem. Now let's start analyzing this and come to what could be possible the solution to this. Now what am I being told? The distance is 91 kilometers. So I am saying, okay, so once total time is given to me as nothing but 20 hours. This total time is nothing but time taken to travel upstream plus time taken to travel downstream. Now, which is an upstream, which is an downstream, I don't know. But what do I know? Time taken to travel upstream. Time will be what? Time is equals to distance. Distance upstream or downstream is nothing but 91. So I'll write here 91. Since it is upstream, what will it be? Upstream is nothing but B minus S plus downstream. Again, the distance will be 91, even if it's an upstream or a downstream. But the speed now will be B plus S. And the total time taken for this is 20. So I'll write this as 20, which includes what? This is your upstream time TU, and this is your downstream time, which is TD. So TU plus TD is equals to T, which is nothing but 20. What else will I do with this now? So I just need to solve this now. What is given to me? 20 is equals to, I'll take out this, I'll write first 91 upon what? B speed of the boat, that is given to me as 10 km per hour. So I'll write this as 10. I'll write the speed of the stream as say X. 10 minus X plus 91 upon 10 plus X, and that's what my equation turns out to be. Now it's all about solving this. Take 20 as common. Take 91 out from here. What are you left with? 1 upon 10 minus X plus 1 upon 10 plus X. Now just solve this. If I just keep the 20 here and the 91 is here, what will I write this to be? 10 plus X plus 10 minus X. X gets cancelled. I will have 20 here. 20 upon, this is A plus B, A minus B, 10 minus X, 10 plus X. So this becomes 10 square minus X square. What all will get cancelled? The 20 and the 20 will get cancelled. What are you left with? This will have 100. 10 square is 100 minus X square is equals to 91. So X square is equals to what? 100 minus 91, which is nothing but 9. X is equals to what? X is equals to 3. That's it. That's my answer. X is equals to 3. So that is the speed of the stream. Or the flow of the river. That is equal to 3 km per hour. And I get the answer to the question that was being asked. So how do you deal with such problem? Just do what is being asked to you. In this case, what I didn't know what the flow of the river, but I didn't even want to know what is the flow of the river. Because I know once it will go upstream and the other time it will go is a downstream. And all I was given was a total time for upstream and downstream, and that is how I executed the problem, by using the total time of upstream and downstream. That's it, and I have the answer as rate of flow of river is nothing but 3 km per hour. Now we start with backwaters race. This race is where Kelva Tourism is involved in the race, and this race is organized by Kerala Tourism. And what is being said about the race? Belwa can row 50 km upstream and 72 km downstream in 9 hours. So Belwa participated in a race and he can go 50 km upstream and 72 km downstream in a total of 9 hours. What is the split up of upstream and downstream hours? I don't know. Even which is an upstream, which is an downstream from start to finish or from finish to start, that is unknown to me. Similarly with the same boat, Kelva can go 70 km upstream and 90 km downstream in 12 hours. I don't know what is the split up of upstream and downstream hours, and I even don't know which is an upstream and which is an downstream. So that is, with that confusion, I start with the question. But what is being asked to me? I am being asked what is the speed of the stream. So let's start. The time taken first, I'll start with Belwa. The time taken by Belwa, the total time taken is nothing but time for upstream plus time for downstream. And now I know what is the total time taken. It is 9. Because this is given to me. Time for upstream will be equal to time is equals to distance upon speed. So what is the distance that is being traveled for upstream? That is 50. What is the upstream speed? That will be equal to B minus S, since it's an upstream, and I'll write here downstream now. Downstream is also equals to distance upon speed. Distance is nothing but 72 upon speed. Since it's downstream, I'll write it as B plus S. That's how I get the equation for Belwa. Let's solve it for Kelva. So Kelva takes total of 12 hours. Time is equals to time for upstream plus time for downstream. So this total time is equals to 12. 12 is equals to upstream. Upstream time is equals to distance upon speed. Upstream it is 70 upon, since it's an upstream, I'll write it as B minus S. Plus this is time for downstream. This will be also equal to distance upon speed. Downstream is nothing but 90 as given in the question, divided by what? B plus S, and that is equal to 12. Now the challenging steps comes here, because if you solve for B minus S and B plus S, the equation will be very complicated to solve. So the best way to solve it, just take B minus S as X and B plus S as Y. Now I'll just try and substitute some values of X and Y to reach to my final answer, and the solving this equation becomes easier to me. So what are the values of X and Y that I'll substitute here? I'll say let X be equal to 10. If this happens, this what? 10 ones are, this is 10 5s are. If this is 5, to get a 9, I'll need a 4 here. To get a 4, I need 18 at the bottom. That's it. So this becomes 18 ones are, 18 4s are, 5 plus 4 is 9. If you are not able to get this, again you have to put the same value 10 and 18. This has to true for this as well. So let's check. 10 ones are, 10 7s are, 18 ones are, 18 5s are, 7 plus 5 will be equal to 12. Correct. I got the value of X and Y. Is this my final answer? But no. I know downstream speed B minus S is 10. I know upstream speed B plus S is 18. I want to know S, speed of the stream. Either subtract the two equation, I'll just add it because it is easier to add. 2B is equals to what? 28. So B is equals to 14. If B is equals to 14, just put it here. 14 minus 4 is 10 and 14 plus 4 is 18. So 4 is the speed of the stream. That's it. I get the final answer. 4 km per hour is the speed of the stream. So keep such approach for such kind of problems, because the only difficult part with this problem, with the assumption of this value, you don't have to go ahead and solve the equation, because if you go ahead and solve the equation, that is when it becomes complicated. Even if I would have solved it for X and Y, this would have become 50 into Y, 17 into X, 9XY, and this would also be 12XY, which would have further complicated the problem. So make sure you assume certain values and get to the answer. So now we start with the problem on races. The problem is on linear race. We are here now at Commonwealth Games. And what is the problem given with respect to Commonwealth Games? This is the 1 kilometer race that is in between these three people. Mahesh representing India, Shinju representing China, and Dinah Smith representing Australia. There are certain conditions that are given about for this linear race. So what is being said? In a 1 kilometer race, Mahesh can give Shinju a start of 40 meters. First, even before I start with the rest part of the question, what is the meaning of this? In a 1 kilometer race, Mahesh can give Shinju a start of 40 meters. So what do you mean by this? If Mahesh is here
Say this is your Mahesh, and Mahesh is standing right at the start. He is giving Shinju a start of 40 meters, which means Shinju is already standing 40 meters ahead of Mahesh. So this is your Mahesh. He will be going a total of what? 1 kilometer, which is 1000 meters. He will be running 1000 meters in a race. Then can you tell me how much is Shinju running in the race? How much is Shinju running? Shinju is running what? Mahesh has given Shinju a start of 40 meters. See, if you can see this, he's given a Shinju a start of 40 meters. So when Mahesh is running 1000 meters, Shinju is running 1000 minus 40, which is nothing but 960 meters, because he already had a start of 40 meters. Okay, that is the meaning of the statement which is given to us here right now. So I'll keep it here now. What we have understood about this. Let's keep this 1 kilometer here, and Mahesh is here and Shinju is here. What else is given to me now? Mahesh can give Dinah a start of 64 meters. So what is the meaning of this now? If this is a 1 kilometer, or if we can say Mahesh is here and Mahesh is going 1000 meters, which is the race, or 1 kilometer, then Dinah is where? Dinah is standing here. Dinah is 64 meters ahead of Mahesh. So if I am saying in the entire race Mahesh is running for 1000 meters, Dinah will run how much? Dinah is already 64 meters ahead of Mahesh. So this is your Dinah, who is 64 meters ahead of Mahesh. So how much will Dinah run in this case? Dinah will run 1000 minus 64, which is nothing but, which comes out to be 1000 minus 64, which comes out to be 936 meters. Correct? Okay, that is the relationship which is given to us right now in this problem. So what do we understand from this? First, just reading this two statement, what do I understand? This is your Mahesh, this is your Shinju, and this is your Dinah. In a race, when Mahesh is running 1000 meters, Shinju is running what? 1000 minus 40, which is 960 meters. And Dinah is running 1000 minus 64, which is 936 meters. That is a relationship which is given to us. So what do we understand from this? This Shinju will run 96% of what Mahesh has run. Why? Because Shinju is running 960 as compared to Mahesh, who is running 1000. So Shinju is running 96%. You can say 96% of what Mahesh is running. Similarly, Dinah, you can say, is what? Dinah is running 936 as compared to Mahesh, who is running 1000. So Dinah is running what percentage? Dinah is running 93.6% of what Mahesh is running. So I have comparison of Shinju with Mahesh, and I have comparison of Dinah with Mahesh. But what is the question asking me? Question is asking me, how many meters start can Shinju give to Dinah? So if there is a race which is only in between your Shinju and Dinah, then what will happen in a race? Then what is a comparison of Shinju and Dinah? So let's see, come here, let's analyze this. Shinju over Dinah. So in a 1000 meter race, what is happening? Shinju is running 960 and Dinah is running 936. So when Shinju is going 960, what is Dinah going? Dinah is going 936. So I need to just compare both of them right now with each other, not with Mahesh. With Mahesh, I already know their comparison. I'm just comparing them with each other. So when Dinah runs 936, Shinju runs 960. So 936 is what percent of 960 is something that I want to know right now. So let's just check it. What will that come out to be? If you just cut it, this will go by 3 3s are 9, 3 1s are 3, 3 2s are 6, 3 3s are 9, 3 2s are 6, 0. What will it go? Now let's just cut this. What will this turn out to be? So 312 is what percent of 320? Let's just check this. So this is just 8 less than 320. If you can see, this is just 8 less than 320, right? 8 less than. Now 8 is what percent of 320? 32 is the 10% of 320. So what can you say about this? 8 will be what? 8 is nothing but 1/4 of 32. 1/4 of, it means 1/4 of 10. 1/4 of 10 is nothing but 2.5. So this is just 2.5% less than this, correct? If it is 2.5, which means 312 is what percent of 320? It is just 2.5% less. So if you take out 2.5 from 100, it comes out to be 97.5. Correct? It comes out to be 97.5. So 312 is 97.5% of 320, which means Dyna runs 97.5% of what Shinju runs. So if I am saying that the race is of 1000 meter and Shinju is running 1000 meters, Dyna will run how much? Dyna will run 975. Right? Because Dyna will run 97.5% of what Shinju is running. And Shinju is running what? 1000 meters. So what is 97.5% of 1000? Okay, that comes out to be 975, which means the question is asking how many meters start can Shinju give to Dyna? How many meters start can Shinju give to Dyna? Shinju will give a start of 25 meters. This is your understanding, right? Now it's a 1000 meter race, so Shinju is going 1000, correct? Because Mahesh is out of this race, so Shinju is going 1000. And what do you understand from this? Dyna is going 975 because Shinju is giving Dyna a start of 25. So Dyna is only going now 975 meters, where your Shinju is going complete 1000 meters. So Shinju gave a start of what? 25 meters to Dyna. 25 meters to Dyna. And that's the answer to our question. 25 meters start will your Shinju give to Dyna. So that's how you analyze the linear races, by comparing the percentage of what the other person will run as compared to the first person, and eventually you will reach at your answer. Next we take one more problem at Commonwealth game on linear races. Now this problem has a linear race between two people, Vinay Kumar representing India and Matthew Hudson representing Great Britain. So this is a problem between the race between these two people, between India and Great Britain. What is the problem saying? In a 100 meter race, Vinay Kumar runs at the speed of 6 km per hour. Okay, the speed of Vinay Kumar is given and the length of the race is given, which is nothing but 100 meter. If Vinay Kumar gives Matthew a start of 4 meters, now we have seen this in the earlier problem, Vinay Kumar is giving Matthew a start of 4 meters and still beats him by 12 seconds. Let's first understand what is the meaning of this start. So if I am saying Vinay Kumar is here, so Vinay Kumar would be running how much if he is at the start? Okay, imagine he is at the start here. So let's put him here. And Matthew is running what now? He gives Matthew a start of 4 meters. So what am I saying right now? That see, this distance where Matthew is standing. Matthew is standing 4 meters ahead. 4 meters ahead of, let's just say 4 meters. He's standing 4 meters ahead of Vinay Kumar. So where is Matthew? Matthew is here. So if I am saying that Vinay Kumar is going for 100 meters in a race, is completing 100 meters, Matthew will complete what? Matthew will complete what? 100 minus 4, and 100 minus 4 is nothing but 96 meters. So Matthew will complete here 96 meters. That is why I am saying Vinay Kumar gives Matthew a start of 4 meters. He is already standing 4 meters ahead of Vinay Kumar. So he will just complete 96 meter and he will complete the race. And your Vinay Kumar will go for a complete 100 meter. Got it? So this is something which is being said in the statement. What is the speed of Matthew is something that is being asked to me. Okay, now let's start with Vinay Kumar and let's compare this. Now first, what is Vinay Kumar doing? He is running 100 meter race and he runs at the speed of 6 km per hour. Now race is 100 meter and the speed is given in kilometer per hour. So let's convert it to meter per second. So 6 km per hour. 6 km per hour is the speed. So I'll multiply this by what? I'll multiply this by 5 by 18 to convert it to meter per second. So 6 ones are 6 threes are. Comes out to be 5 by 3 meter per second is the speed of Vinay Kumar. Okay, which means he will go 5 by 3 meter in 1 second. So in what time will he complete an 100 meter race? In what time will he complete the 100 meter race? So you can say he goes 5 by 3 meters in 1 second. In 1 second he goes 5 by 3 meters. So the question is now, he'll complete 100 meter race in how many seconds? So 100 meters he will go in how many seconds? That is it. He goes 5/3 meters in 1 second, correct? So 100 meters he will go in how many seconds is something that we are supposed to know about this problem. So from this I get the value of x. So the value of x comes out to be what? 5 ones are 5, 20s are 20 into 3, x comes out to be what? 60 what? Seconds. Which means Vinay Kumar will complete this 100-meter race in what time? In the time of 60 seconds. In the time of 60 seconds, he'll complete this 100-meter race. Now, what is the efficiency of Matthew as compared to Vinay Kumar? Matthew is completing not 100 meter. Matthew is completing 96 meter, as we know, because Vinay Kumar gave him a start of 4 meters. Correct. But Vinay Kumar gives Matthew a start of 4 meter and still beats him by 12 seconds. So Vinay Kumar beats Matthew by 12 seconds, which means Vinay Kumar came and after 12 seconds Matthew came. Vinay Kumar completed the race in 60 seconds and Matthew took 12 more seconds. Matthew took 12 more seconds to complete the race. So what is the total time that is taken by Matthew to complete the race? 60 plus 12, which is nothing but 72 seconds. 72 seconds is the time taken by Matthew to complete this race. And what is the distance travelled by Matthew? 96 meters. So what is the speed of Matthew? Speed of Matthew that is being asked to us, right? Speed is nothing but distance. 96 upon time. Time taken is 72. So distance upon time, meters per second. That's it. That is my answer. 96 upon 72. Now I need to convert this to this in meter per second, right? If the question is asked in kilometer per hour, because the speed of Vinay Kumar is in kilometer per hour. So let's just find it out this in kilometer per hour. This in meter per second. So I'll multiply this by 18 by 5. Just to convert this to meter per second. So now let's see what is happening. 18 ones are 18 fours are. Then I have 4 ones are 4 twos are 8. What am I left with? 1 4 4 4s are 16. So final answer is 24 by 5. 24 by 5 is nothing but 5 4s are 20. 1 by 5 is 20. 0.2 into 4 will be equal to 4.8. That's it. This is my answer. So what is the speed of Matthew Hudson? 4.8 kilometer per hour. And that's give me the answer to the question. So what did I do in this question? Just followed the guidelines. I knew how much of start that Vinay gave to Matthew. So how much will Matthew running? 96. Now I just need to find out what is the time taken by the Matthew to run this 96 meter. So first I find out the time of Vinay Kumar. Vinay Kumar took 60 seconds and 12 more seconds is taken by Matthew to complete the race because Vinay Kumar beats Matthew by 12 seconds. So 72 seconds is the time taken to travel 96 meters. So eventually I get the speed in meter per second and I convert it to kilometer per hour. Okay, that's how easy it is to approach such problems.
Linear race, now we move on to circular race. Now this circular race involves racing around a circular track, and that's why it is given a name of circular track race. This is in between Dinah Smith, who is from Australia, and Matthew Hudson, who is from Great Britain. And what is the race about? They are competing in a circular track of length 960 meters. They both start from the same start point to compete in a race. So which means both are here at this start point and they are competing in a race. So they are running in the same direction. That's why it's a race. If they go in the opposite direction, obviously it's not a race. So they are starting from the same point and they are going in this direction, both of them. And that's how they'll complete the race. That is what will be a lap. So if they complete say 1 round, it will be 1 lap. They complete 2 rounds, it will be 2 laps. And that's how they'll keep running on in the form of laps here. And what after that is being told to be Matthew, who runs faster, laps Dinah in the middle of 5th round. This is an extremely important statement. Matthew, who is running faster than Dinah. So what is happening? Matthew is here and your Dinah is here. So Matthew is running here in this direction and the Dinah is just after your Matthew. So what is happening? Matthew is faster than Dinah. So what will happen? If Matthew comes here, Dinah is here. If Matthew goes here, Dinah is here. If Matthew comes here, Dinah is here. And that's why it will keep on running. But every time Matthew will be ahead of Dinah. Why? Because he's faster than Dinah.
Okay, but eventually one thing will happen. If you can imagine, they are just coming here. He's just going faster than her every time. But one thing will happen, that somewhere down the line he will completely take one more lap. So if Dinah has taken, say, one lap like this, Dinah has taken one lap like this, he will take one lap and one more lap extra, and he will go ahead of Dinah. Because what is happening, if the race has started, initially both were a 0. Matthew came here, Dinah is here. Matthew came here, Dinah is here. Matthew is slowly trying to complete a lap. He's slowly trying to go ahead of Dinah, and one time it will happen, he will take one extra lap and move ahead of Dinah. And when is this happening? Matthew, who runs faster than Dinah, lapses Dinah in the middle of 5th round. What is middle of 5th round? It's nothing but 4.5 round. That is middle of 5th round. So what is the meaning of this? When Matthew completes 4.5 round, Dinah will complete 1 round less. Dinah will complete 3.5 round. You will say, how did I deduce this? Same thing which I was telling to you at the start. They both are here. Matthew is going slowly ahead of the Dinah. Slowly is going ahead. But what happens now? Matthew is here. He completes this round. 1, 2, 3, and then 4, and then 4.5. Till now, Dinah has completed only 1, 2, 3, and then 3.5, such that he took an extra lap. And he moved ahead of Dinah in the middle of 4th round, which is when he completed 4.5 rounds. Okay, Dinah only completed 3.5 rounds, because from the start we saw Matthew was trying to go ahead of Dinah. He's trying to go. When will you go ahead? When he completes one extra lap and reaches here. And when is he doing that? In the middle of 4th round. So he completed 4.5 rounds. Dinah completed 3.5 rounds. And that is the relation of the efficiency between the two. Now what will you do with this? So just to convert this to, I'll say when Matthew completes 9 rounds, Dinah completes 7 rounds. Okay, just to take out the decimal point and see it in terms of efficiency. That is what I get it here. Now what is being said, if Matthew and Dinah were to run in a 3-kilometer race, how much start in terms of distance should Matthew give it to Dinah so that they finish the race in the dead heat? Which means what? Now say there is a linear race. There is just a linear race which is of what? Which is of 3 kilometers, which is of 3000 meters. 3000 meter race is there. This is between Matthew and Dinah. Then what is being asked to me? How much meter start should Matthew give it to Dinah so that the result is a dead heat. Dead heat means both of them reach the finish line, okay, at the same time. That is the meaning of dead heat. Now when will this happen? Matthew is obviously faster than Dinah. If both of them start at the same point, which is the start point, Matthew will win. I don't want Matthew to win. I want both of them to reach the deadline at the same time. That's why I want it to end in a dead heat. So Matthew will have to give some start to the Dinah, so that Dinah will run less as compared to Matthew, who will be running the complete 3000. Matthew will be running the complete 3000, but he will have to give Dinah some start so that they end in a dead heat. Right? So what is the start? So if you can see, he can give her a start of 2 rounds. Why? Because when he goes 9, if I say 3000 is the total distance travel, I divide 3000 into 9 parts. Why 9 parts? Because this complete thing is being travelled by Matthew. What will Dinah travel? Dinah will travel 7 part of it, right? 7 part is what Dinah can travel if they have to travel the distance in the same time. But if we have to give a start, we will give a start of 2 part of it. Such that Dinah will be standing ahead by 2 parts, and then she will be completing only 7 parts of that, and that will be your answer to the question. So that's how I get 3000 divided by 9 into 2. Now let's just solve this and get the final answer. So this becomes 3 3s are 9, 3 10s are 30, 0 0. Then what do I get? This is 1 by 3, 0.33. 0.33 into 1000 is 333.3. You can see 333.3 would be this. Now if I multiply this by 2, this becomes what? 666.67. That's it. So Matthew will give Dinah a start of 666.67. She will be standing this many meters ahead of Matthew, so that both of them end at a dead heat, which means both of them reach the finish line at the same time. If even Dinah starts from the same point where Matthew started, Matthew will surely win, because he completes 9 rounds when Dinah completes only 7 rounds. So what will he do? He will give Dinah a start of 2 rounds. This is equivalent to 2 rounds. Right? This is equivalent to your 2 rounds. So he will give Dinah a start of 2 rounds, so that she's already standing ahead by 2 rounds. So when he will be completing a complete 1000, she will be completing this 7. She will be completing this 7. And she's already standing ahead by 2. She's already standing ahead by 2. And that's how. So how much of start will Matthew give it to Dinah? 666.67 meter, such that the race ends in a dead heat. Okay, I hope you got the concept related to what was given in this problem.